Want to come closer?
Yeah.
Is it on?
It's on.
Hey guys, I'm LJ all day. Today I'm with Eric the reptile guy.
Hello.
So first, tell us a bit about yourself, Eric.
Okay, a little bit about myself. So they call me Eric the reptile guy because I love reptiles, and as you can see, I have my reptile van here. That was my alligator Wally, and have plenty of reptiles. And so that's why they call me Eric the reptile guy. And I love animals. I love working with kids. I love having fun. I love exploring out in nature and looking for snakes and frogs and lizards and turtles and bugs, and it's just awesome. That's what I like to do.
Go ahead.
So I actually have a few questions for you.
Okay, let's hear them.
So when did you get your first reptile and how?
When did I get my first reptile? You know, it's just funny, Logan, that you asked me that question because I just wrote this story about it just the other day. And my first reptile was actually a turtle. It was a red-eared slider turtle, and it was this big, and his name was Speedy the turtle.
What, was she fast?
Yeah, it was really fast. Actually, I used to take him and put him on a tray, and then he'd run, and then I'd make him go back, and he'd run again like that. And I'm like, well, it's not really fair to the turtle, but it was really fun at the time when I was a kid. I liked it.
That seems really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
So where did you start learning?
Where did I start learning about reptiles? Okay. So my first experience learning about reptiles was actually from books. I used to read lots and lots of reptile books. Actually, the reason I got that turtle is because I got the 1986 National Geographic that had a whole article about turtles, and that article was so wonderful that I decided I was going to get a turtle after that. It was just like, not only was it wonderful, it was like, that's not even the words for it. That was a life-changing article. It's life-changing. So for me, it was life-changing. And I remember it was just when I was getting ready to graduate 5th grade, and I did my 5th grade science project about turtles because of that magazine. So that's what really kicked it off. And then that summer I went to camp, and then I found another turtle and a snake, and that's how it started.
That's a really good story.
Yeah.
So, how did your parents support your reptile interest, or were they just like, no, I don't really want snakes in the house?
That's a really good question. My parents did support the reptile interest. Mom didn't, actually Dad didn't want it either. Mom and Dad didn't want snakes in the house at first. So I learned that if you keep asking, eventually you get it. Just can't be annoying. So don't stop believing. And if they never let you have it, it's okay. But eventually my parents did let me have a snake when I was 15 in the house. And they did support me a lot. And you know, I kind of abused it a little bit because I ended up having more snakes than I should have. I even hid some under my bed, and spiders into my room under my bed, and lizards in my room. And the lizard actually did it in because the lizard ate crickets, and so Mom was finding crickets around the house, and she knew I didn't have any other pets, and so she was like, where are these crickets coming from? I'm like, those are from outside. She's like, no, I know those aren't the outside ones because those are the same ones that I used to get for your little toad. I remember those. I'm like, no, but they're not. And I was lying, so you shouldn't lie, parents. But anyway, that's what really happened. And then they were going to kick me out of the house, and so they say, Eric, you have to go now. You got a year to get yourself together. But at that time I was already 25, so it was time to go anyway.
So this one that I was actually really curious about, my grandma was curious about, the camera woman, aka my nanny, and my cousin Jonah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jonah, get up here, bro. Get up here on the chair.
This is Jonah.
This is my cousin Jonah. Hi, Jonah. So Jonah, if you'd like to stick around and just like stay near the van, you can. Or if you want to. Awesome. So, do frogs breed with other species of frogs?
Do frogs breed with other species of frogs? Usually no. Usually no, because every species has their own certain DNA. So even if a frog breeds with another frog, they wouldn't be able to produce young. And so each frog has a different sound or song that the other frog knows. So because of that, the frogs kind of know who to talk to when they're in the pond. So a lot of times, certain frogs only come out at certain times of the year. So sometimes it's only this type of frog in the pond, and then once that frog's done laying their eggs, then another type of frog comes, and then they lay their eggs, and so it's all kind of really interesting.
So can you tell the gender of a tadpole when, can you tell the gender of a frog when it's a tadpole?
That's a very good question, and the answer is the only way you could possibly do that is with a DNA test. However, it's not possible to just look at them and tell when they're tiny. Not yet that I know of. And I said anything's possible. Somebody might come up with some new thing, but as of right now, I don't believe so. Not right now.
That's actually a really good answer. I kind of was thinking like, no, but like there are different species that I don't really know much about. So, yeah.
Can't know everything, right? You just got to be open to the possibility, but you say, well, right now I'm not sure, so, you know.
So, what is the biggest danger to reptiles or anything?
Well, the biggest danger to reptiles and any animal now is animals becoming endangered species because of human impacts. So there are some really great stories about animals that are doing wonderful in the wild. Like, you know, the panda is not an endangered species anymore. Manatees are no longer endangered species. However, amphibians are a little bit different because amphibians are sensitive to environmental things, changes. So even if you try to save them, the environment has to be really clean because they drink through their skin. So amphibians drink through their skin. Reptiles, they're sensitive, also can drink through their skin, but they're very sensitive to the environment changing. So it's really important that we all do our part and do earth-friendly things so that way they'll be all right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what drew you to Madagascar? Because Madagascar about any places?
What, say again?
Like,
What brought me to Madagascar?
like
When I went to because I was telling you I went to Madagascar. So Madagascar brought me to, I was brought to Madagascar because my professor in school in college, Dr. Pat, she was a primatologist. She studied lemurs. In fact, I just talked to my old professor just a little while ago, right before I came here, and she was giving me a pep talk actually after all these years. But I worked in a lab there, and during that time in the lab, we actually we worked with lemurs, but then they said, Eric, anything that you work with lemurs, you can relate it to the science of reptiles. You get like all the science is all the same. It doesn't really change. So you just change the animal and the science is the same. So she said, you know, working with lemurs and they're from Madagascar. And then when I graduated, she said to me, Eric, if there's anything you need, here's my card. And whatever, you know, cell phone number and everything on it. I'm like, okay. So I was like, I'm not really sure what, but we'll see. And then about 7 years later, I was in Madagascar doing a project, Skyping with kids from around the world in the jungle of Madagascar. And that's my project. That's what I wanted to do. It's like, I want to share nature with kids from around the world, but my friends in Borneo are afraid to do it. And so they said that I need a business plan. I don't have a business plan. Pat, can I do it there without a business plan? She's like, yeah, come do it. And I did it, and it was wonderful. And so that's what drew me to Madagascar.
So, what's your favorite part about Madagascar?
My favorite part about Madagascar? Oh wow, the people there is really my first favorite thing. My friends there that I met. And my second favorite thing is, of course, all the animals. There's so much biodiversity, amazing. There's chameleons this big, literally this big, no exaggeration from like that. There's beautiful snakes, there's turtles, there's like everything there. It's just amazing. And there's a lot of that stuff here too. It's just that like a lot of the stuff there, you can go from one place to like very not far away and see completely different species. Like go up the hill and you have completely different species. Where here we have a lot of the same species all around, but like there it's like huge biodiversity. Beautiful. So you have to come to Madagascar.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So next is a question similar but one small difference.
Okay.
What is your least favorite part about Madagascar?
My least favorite part about Madagascar, that's an easy one, is the poverty. That's a little bit like, yeah, it's that, and it's not the poverty, it's that sometimes people believe that they're poor, so they are, and then there's not a lot of resources. So that's the sad part, because Madagascar, the people work so hard and they're so awesome and there's so much richness, and at the same time there's also poverty too. So that's the part that I don't like, because I said there's no reason to have poverty. So that's bothers me. So yeah, that's my least favorite part.
That's a very deep answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, short of traveling to Madagascar, what can the average kid, just do to help out animals?
What can you do to help out animals? The first thing is don't use plastic bags. That's a very important thing, because plastic bags can end up in the ocean, and turtles eat them and animals eat them, and they can suffocate and all kinds of things. So, limit your use of plastic bags and plastic things. Also, be aware of like what you eat. Be aware of your littering, things like that. Make sure you keep a clean environment. Make sure you always pick up after yourself. Things like that's very important. So yeah, very important.
That sounds like something every kid can do.
Yeah,
every
everybody
kid
can do that.
Yeah. Every kid can just make sure they pick up after themselves. And,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep, that's absolutely it. Yeah.
So, last but certainly not least, what projects are you working on?
Ooh, some really fun projects. So first we have a magazine called Nature Now, and I'm gonna pull it out. Hold on a second. So we have a new magazine coming out. That's it. The magazine Nature Now will be out by July the 30th. I'm sorry, by June 30th. We're gonna have this magazine and have it right here. Dun, 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 dun. 3dpets.net, 3D printed toys that are biodegradable toys for kids. It's wonderful. And you know, Logan, you're gonna be the first person to test it out. So you get to test it out for a week and tell me what you think of that toy. But we can open it actually. You can see it's a 3D printed toy, and this first one is actually frogs. This may not be the first one to be released, but you're getting a sneak peek at it. But that's our 3D printed toy that has a QR code on the bottom that can tell you all about the animal. And you get all these little information cards. You get some charts, anatomy charts. You get vocabulary. You get, oh look, you get this too, check this out. You get a whole, look at this, look at that. Dun, 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 dun. You get this. This is a, activities and all kinds of fun stuff. So this is wonderful, and you get to learn about animals at the same time. So, yeah.
So the last thing.
The last thing
is the thing that you agreed to do. Orange Justice and the Hype.
Orange Justice and the Hype. I'm ready. Let's do it. We need some music though. Hold on.
I can't. We can't.
You want to do it to Janet Jackson? Let's do it to Janet Jackson.
That's Michael Jackson's sister, honey.
This is
Logan, you like Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Janet Jackson's his sister.
You got a sister.
You can't do the cross. I know. Almost the whole video. I was trying to do the cross. Like I was literally doing this the whole video. Because my viewers just told me I'm doing this.
Alright, how do we do it? Alright, let's go.
Wait, no.
Not too fast? I gotta take my jacket. Hold on. You gotta get ready. Let's go. Alright, go. Okay. Wait, hold on. Do it again.
That's not what we need to.
Okay. Like that? Wait, hold on. That's like the Cabbage Patch. That's the word. That's like the Cabbage Patch.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's like the old school Cabbage Patch, right?
Yeah, but it's
Like that. So do it again. Okay. Like that. Is that right? Is right? I got it. So this is the height.
It is a Cabbage Patch. And now, let's do arms here.
Okay.
X again. Clap.
Oh, wait, hold up. Is that It's like that?
It's like that.
But you keep going though, right? Do the whole thing.
Yeah. All right, LJ, you signing out?
Peace.
What's the website they can find the 3D frog?
Okay, the website's not out yet, but just go to adventureshow.com. So it's EDVENTUREACHOW.com.
Awesome. All right.
And
Sign
buy
off.
the 3D frog. And if you want to see me in real life, every Wednesday there's Food Not Bombs. You can get free food. You can bring in things like the food is for everyone. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, bye guys. Peace.
Good job, Logan.